Well, good day there, everyone. Malcolm Evans, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia again. And guess what? It's Friday and it's really hot here. All right. So if you don't like air conditioner sort of bills, don't come and live in Atlanta. It only lasts for a couple of months and it's a beautiful place apart from that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather. That's a very British thing to do. And many of you know that, hey, I am from Britain, old habits and so on. And the things I like to talk about are new habits and new information and useful stuff that you can take and you can go and apply in your business and in your life. And one of these things that's on everybody's tongue these days, apart from cryptocurrency laws being changed, and now we're starting to really start to get modern in the way we think. It's artificial intelligence. And my background for the last 30 years has been industrial automation. I've seen how technologies have crept into manufacturing, to how you put beans in cans and how you can do it with hardly any people, having robots there and automated systems which go up into the cloud and communicate with factories all around the world. That's the kind of stuff that is coming to us all. If it's not here, now it's starting to move into the consumer world, into the affecting people at home. And this it's given us a long line of sight, but now it's arriving. Many people have learned a little bit about ChatGPT, but how can you apply these things in your business if you are a small business person or a small, medium enterprise, wherever? Well, I've got a friend that's going to join us today, Brandan Watkins, and guess what he does? He has a company that specializes in application of AI. And there he is, Brainy Bot. Hello, Brendan.
Hi, Malcolm. How are you doing today?
Doing great, as I was mentioned, and lamenting about how warm it is, but hey, it's okay. We survive. Couldn't imagine living here a few hundred years ago, but hey, we don't have to worry about that. So, we met recently, and you have something that's on everybody's mind, but I think it's on
Mhm.
their mind. Either, they're fearful of it or they don't understand it. And if we don't understand something, we're scared of it and we're going to make
Mhm.
improper, sort of decisions. So can you
Yeah,
tell us, who you are, what you do, how you've got here, what your company offers, and some takeaways, some useful things and knowledge that
yeah,
people
for sure.
can use. So hey, over
Yeah,
to yourself.
yeah. So my name is Brendan. I own Brainy Bot, as you can see right here. And basically, we help business owners basically let their business run better, right? We help business owners. We help businesses run better. There we go. So we do that by automating processes and workflows, fixing broken processes that just aren't working the way they should, with AI. And that is through custom AI systems that we build. We don't like Frankenstein together a whole bunch of off-the-shelf tools. We actually build custom solutions. As
Okay.
far as how I got here, I mean, really, I started out, um, whole journey really started in 2021, when I basically answered a job ad on Facebook for one of my friends who was an entrepreneur. He posted, "Hey, um, starting a new company. You can get up to $1,000 per acquisition." So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm looking for something right now. Might as well reply. So I did. Turned out to be a company that was doing truck driving recruiting. And yeah, did that. We did that for a while and then transitioned to doing marketing for truck drivers or for trucking companies to get drivers. And then from there, about 6 months after ChatGPT was initially released to the public, we transitioned into an AI academy, um, teaching people how to use AI that and throughout all that, things were happening. I'm not going to go into detail, but things were happening that were gradually making me kind of disillusioned with the company I was working with. And by December that year, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to go start my own thing. I really like AI. I see the potential there. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And so here I am.
Well, it's a journey that so many are on. And I always say, it's a difference between did they jump or were they pushed? Either way, they are where they are and they're on the path. Now, for many, if we could just sort of put some meat on the bones about a couple of things here.
Hmm.
The word process, what that means for a business owner and which kind
Hmm.
of business, and what AI means in that process and what the
Right.
outcome's going to be, because I think that'd be valuable.
Right. So a particular process that comes to mind is in a lot of industries, you being in manufacturing background, you might be somewhat familiar with feasibility studies. Are you?
Yeah, depends.
Yeah. So very time consuming process regardless of industry because there's a lot of data points that go into it. Something that we're going to be designing and creating. I've actually prototyped it out. Um, is a feasibility study AI. So instead of a person having to delve into all of the data points and go into read everything and all of that, AI can do that and create the feasibility study that then a human would just read through and spot check so that instead of a feasibility study taking 40, 60, 80, 100 hours or more, it now takes 2 or 3 hours of the human's time
Okay.
to have a full feasibility study done.
Okay.
Um, eh, for more businesses, more broad application, um, a lot of businesses have processes where the whole thing is not something that's difficult to do, but it's just time consuming. So they have to do this thing. And then after that, they have to do this and then this. And there's a whole bunch of different steps that they have to go through. I'm trying to think of a specific example, but it's just every business has something like this where they have a whole bunch of different little steps, little tasks that they have to do every day to, complete a job or complete a goal,
Mm.
right? And a lot of times, in a lot of cases, AI can be brought in to automate all these little steps and do it for the person because they're not difficult things to do. And then they just would have to make sure everything was correct and then be done with it. So instead of taking 2 hours to do 10 little tasks, AI can do those little tasks. The person just looks at it and goes, okay, looks good. And then it's done.
If you can expand on what a task would be and also what a data point would be.
So a data point is something like, okay, like an example of feasibility study, I'll use real estate development specifically. A data point would be, okay, this area gets a lot of rain and is low elevation, so that is a possibility for flooding in that area. Like all those little bits of information would be data points,
Okay. Now,
right?
where would that, where would a business access that? Would they have, something in-house and they've got a
Um,
specific program that they've
typically in real estate development specifically, they would look at like a feasibility or no, not a FEMA map.
okay.
Um, like, or a floodplain map,
Okay.
something of that nature.
So the data could reside somewhere on the web, on a,
Yes.
in somewhere in the
Yes.
cloud or wherever, and
Hmm.
they would determine what their feasibility would be. Hey, I want to build
Hmm.
100 houses. I
Hmm.
need the X amount of dollars per acre of land to be here. I
Yes.
need it to have established services, or it needed to be,
Hmm.
septic tanks or uh, home generation of electricity
Yes.
through natural gas or whatever.
Electric grid,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they go,
All those different things are all data points that have to be collected from various different places.
okay. Now,
Typically
how,
speaking, they have ready access to those. It's just analyzing all of them and digging through them and making sure everything fits together, that it is feasible. That is what is so time consuming
okay.
in that regard. And also, that's a perfect example of different tasks that AI can automate, being, okay, I need to go here and get the electrical grid data for this area that we're trying to develop. That is a perfect example of a task. Not a difficult task, but it still takes time.
Mm,
And when you pile it together with a bunch of other little, not difficult tasks that take a lot of time, that is where AI can come in and just make everything easier.
okay. So it sounds like the first time you would do something, you would establish the all the tasks, all the sources of the data,
Hmm.
determine what your ideal outcome is going to be, aggregate the data points into something that is going to assemble it in which and spit out the
Hmm.
result that you want. So in that
Yes.
configuration of the first time, it's labor intensive.
Hmm.
Thereafter, you just change a couple of the parameters and outputs and you press the
Yep.
button and then it speeds it up that way. Have I got my head around it?
So the beautiful thing about AI is it loves data and it has access to the internet. So we create the feasibility study AI, right? The AI itself will, through access that you give it to basically your accounts with these different softwares or websites or whatever, it will be able to go and gather the data itself.
Okay.
So you're not going to have to aggregate it yourself. You simply tell the AI, "Hey, I'm looking to develop this area. It has this zoning, and here is the budget. Give me the feasibility study." Basically, it's going to be a little more than that. You're going to need to upload data that isn't readily available online,
Mm,
but that's the gist of it. Anything online that has an API, you're going to be able to have the AI itself go and get that information and use it in the feasibility study.
okay. So just to break out API and the TLAs of this industry, that would be application plugin or
Yes.
something that would connect
Yes.
disparate bits of information and translate it so it's into
Correct.
some native, or not native, but something that the group can understand. I
Yes.
suppose, a way just to, sort of rationalize this is you've got, a whole bunch of people from different parts of the world, all speaking different languages, all having
Hmm.
something from input, and you've got something in the middle that can translate all of those languages one at a time and make it
Hmm.
coalesce and coexist to deliver an output or an outcome and a
Yes.
common message. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, there are so many other applications for AI in business,
Yeah.
right? Um, One that I foresee as being very common in the future is AI training, um, in the place of, not necessarily AI training, but AI information retrieval for employees specifically. quickly.
Hmm.
Another thing that I'm working on that I have a prototype for, I call it a single source of truth, an AI single source of truth. So a big problem at a lot of companies is there is no one place an employee can go to get an answer to any question they have about policy, procedure, or anything of that nature. They That's something I experienced in my prior life as an employee, and it's something that I feel like a lot of people experience. They've got to call this person or email that person or go to this part of the website, and it just gets very confusing. Well, a honestly rather simple solution is to have an AI interface they can log into, and that AI is plugged into the company database for policy, procedure, safety, all that stuff. And then they click on, okay, I have an SOP question. So I'm going to click on that, ask my question, get my answer. I have a safety question. I'm going to click on that, ask my question, get the answer. I have a workflow question. Click there, ask my question, get my answer, rather than having to call this person, that person, email that person, whatever. So just I feel like that's going to be something that's very commonplace in the future because it's a simple solution to implement.
Okay. And yeah, this is all wow. It's all coming together, very quickly. And
Yeah,
the should people be fearful of this if they're working at a company or
absolutely not.
okay. And one thing that I wanted to sort of pull out is that the who's going to benefit from this, and then what do they need to prepare
Yeah,
to bring to you to have that conversation, and the types
mhm.
of people that you want to be working with.
Right. So just to go back to the fearfulness thing, because a lot of people are afraid of AI. There's a lot of fear out there, and a lot of that fear comes from just not understanding and being fed a constant diet of negativity about AI. Oh, AI is stealing information, it's infringing on copyright, all that stuff. It's like, is it really though? Because all the information that AI has, it's publicly available. Like it's publicly available information. But even more than that, people are afraid AI is going to steal their job. And the way I put it is, unless you are a low or no skill worker, AI isn't coming for your job. It's not. It's not going to be in a place where it can take a high skill worker's job anytime soon. Who is going to take your job is somebody who's using AI.
Mm.
And you can't afford to be an old man yelling at the clouds, shaking your fist at AI, angry at it, because if you do that, you're just going to be rendered obsolete. You need to learn at least some AI, how to use it. Make yourself so that you are valuable in your knowledge of AI, because a lot of people aren't going to do that. They're going to be stuck in their old ways and refuse to adapt. And, well, to put it bluntly, they're going to go extinct like the dinosaur they are. Um, as far as my company and who we want to work with, really anybody, any business that has a process that is extremely time consuming or just doesn't work the way it should. A workflow that just is disjointed and doesn't flow well. Um, or really, honestly, even beyond that, just any business that has a problem, we can probably help with a solution via AI. We are very good at coming up with solutions.
Okay, well, great. So if somebody's in going through growing pains, or somebody's
Hmm.
going through downsizing, somebody's going through attrition or retention
Hmm.
issues or wherever their business is experiencing as challenges, and as you say, things are not running smooth, and when they're not running smooth, they're going to consume time. They
Hmm.
can reach out to you, they can share what they're doing, and you can,
Absolutely.
by asking the right questions and make some suggestions. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, you'll give me your contact information. I'll put this
Hmm.
in the post in. I'll tag it onto the video, and yeah, and so whoever's out there, don't be scared of this stuff.
No,
It's not the boogeyman.
not at all.
It's the next evolution in technological advancement
Hmm.
that humankind is going through.
Yep.
And this is not that a meteorite's going to hit us and make us all
No.
extinct. We just imagine we're going to get a lot of hailstones and it's going to punch holes in a few people's windows. But
Every single thing I have heard against AI is the exact same thing people in the late 90s were saying about the internet.
mm,
Pretty much exact same thing. And in some cases, word for word, the exact same thing. It's just all the negativity, all the noise.
mm,
It's just the same kind of people that don't want to adapt, don't want to change. They're comfortable. They don't like progress. Just ignore the negativity
yeah, that's a fair
and
thing to say.
adapt.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
Adapt and you'll go far.
change is a constant. We just need to embrace it.
Yes,
Okay, great. Well,
exactly.
thanks for your time, and
Yeah.
I look forward to hearing from people reaching out to you and say, look, I'm trying to
Mhm.
achieve this. Help me understand, and who knows, they
Yeah,
may.
and I'm also open to just regular consults. Like you don't necessarily need a system for your business, but you want to learn more about AI, how to use it. I can help you with that too.
Okay, great. All right. Hey, Brendan, thanks for your time. See
Yep.
you.